Welcome to Real Mob Stories with James Proctor. I'm here with my friend and former partner, Lee Cole. How are you doing today, Lee?
I appreciate you inviting me. You notice my mob stuff behind me is gone.
Yes, it's gone.
Okay, so I'm just here visiting, and I'm officially out of the mob genre. But
Yeah.
I just found this very funny. This video that he did, and that's why I called you
Yeah.
and asked you if I can come on and do this with you.
Yeah, of course.
And
Definitely.
I'm doing plenty of shows on the Wrestling Channel. Please, you can go over to Wrestling with the Devil. And we're starting to do well. We're starting to pick up more and more subs over there all the time, James.
Yes.
And it's always good when you can come back and do something where Joey is very funny.
Yes.
And we talked about this. You remember when Sammy's son came after me in the car, he was wearing he had this horrible outfit on. He had a Marilyn Monroe shirt on and red sneakers. It looked really weird.
It did.
And Sammy has a great. I'm sorry, Joey Merlino is that whole thing. Well, this is going to be an interesting thing. What do you want to ask me some stuff about Merlino first before you get started?
Yeah, so it's interesting to me, Lee, that I noticed that he was starting to do these shorts from Italy. And I knew that Snuff was going over to Italy. I did not know that. Joey was going. I just had assumed that, he might not have been able to based on, past crimes or whatever. But, it's interesting that he's willing, he's going to go over to Italy. It doesn't, he's not afraid. He's out in the open. He's doing whatever he wants to do over there. Looks like they're having a lot of fun and really some funny stuff coming out of their shows that, their little clips. I guess their full shows are actually on Patreon, but they're doing these little shorts and clips, and they're pretty funny in my opinion. But yeah, I just thought it was interesting that he was over in Italy. I didn't know that he could.
Well, that's interesting that you asked that because last night, I got this urge to find out about going to Poland. And I don't know why Poland. I just got this urge. It's like if I'm going to do my bucket list, I want to go overseas. I want to go visit one place. Would be Poland.
Yeah.
So I checked what you said about being a felon. I'm a felon. So it's up to you have to apply for that visa first of all.
Yeah.
And then you've got to tell them your crimes. As we know, Joey's never been convicted of murder.
No, yeah.
And because we were talking about Sammy can't even, Sammy talks about not being able to leave the country, but Sammy's a mad dog killer that murdered people, murdered children, murdered his friends. He's just a slimy murderer. So it's obvious why he can't leave the country. And what country would want Sammy Gravano? We don't. The country doesn't even want Sammy Gravano unless he could rat on somebody.
Yeah, exactly. No,
So
you got a good point there.
But I'm sure that he applied for it. I'm sure it didn't happen overnight. And he followed the law and did everything correctly. And if you know a few people that know how to fill out those visas, might know somebody here and there, you can get a visa to Italy. You had gangsters from United States going to visit their homeland for the last 100 years.
Yeah, that's true. Well, you got a good point on that. Yep, they definitely
so they probably look at gangsters a little bit different. Sammy Gravano's not a gangster. He's a guy that used to be a gangster that now is a murdering rat. So I would say that would be the difference. And plus, Sammy got lifetime parole.
Yeah.
So he can't do anything. He has to get approved from if he wants to do something like that, and no one's going to approve him. No country is going to want him to come there. And no one's going to approve him. Like, look at Michael Francis, another guy that has had felonies, but he's all over the world.
Yep. In fact, he had some issues with, I think, because of the Andrew Tate stuff, that he got one of his visas denied, and he reapplied, and they accepted it. But even with his record, he had a little bit of a problem getting in there. But eventually, they let him come over.
But these guys don't have murdering charges. That's a big thing. You're talking about a violent felon. A lot of countries don't want violent felons in their country.
No, I wish we didn't like violent felons in our country, coming over.
well, it's easy to get in this country. All you got to do is go down to Mexico and put your foot over the border.
Yep,
That's the easiest country in the world at this moment to get into.
Yeah, very true. Okay, so you want me to play let's play.
And do you mind if I stop it at certain spots?
Yeah, go ahead and stop whenever you want to. So okay. I'll go ahead and start.
Me and Snuff here live from Sicily. We did a podcast there. It'll only be on Patreon this week. It's funny. We were shopping yesterday in Capri, and I was looking at all the stores. They have beautiful clothes, and I just happened to bring up the way these fucking low-life rats, Sammy the Bull dresses. They dress like hobos. I never seen nothing like it in my life. And then a guy sent me a video of his shoes. Wait till you see this fucking outfit. How do people come out? He's a bum. He's worse than a bum.
You know what I find interesting? Can you imagine how overpriced those places are in Italy? Just
gosh,
for tourism alone.
Mm-hmm.
And then just the price of stuff in Italy. Can you imagine how much money you need to even go into one of these stores to buy an outfit?
Oh my gosh! In Capri, where they're at, that's like an island or something off the coast there in Italy, and it's very expensive. But it's a tourist place, and so you got all of those name brand Italian shops, and yeah, you're going to pay a lot of money for anything there.
If Sammy the Bull ever put that on, he'd fucking die. He really would die. Right on his fucking show. He can't write his stuff. He don't even know what the fuck it is. You got Gucci, Moncler. They got it all. You name it, they got it. Another Louis store. Louis Vuitton store. Gotta go get some stuff in there.
Louis Vuitton. Can you imagine going to Louis Vuitton and especially if you're with your wife and you're over there shopping and you got a budget? It's like one of those stores are going to destroy your vacation budgets, wouldn't you think?
Oh my God, yeah. I'm very fortunate. My wife's not very much into all the name brand stuff over there. She dresses well, but she's had to learn to shop on a budget, and but also I haven't took the chance of taking her over to Capri in Italy.
So when she says to you, James, when your wife says to you, I want to go shopping, do you say, okay, honey, let's get ready to go to Walmart?
Yeah, we can go to Walmart. That's right. No. Yeah. No, but no, she's good about that. I'm very fortunate, I'll tell you that.
See Sammy one of these. He'd die right on the fucking air. Look at these three fucking bums. Look at these outfits. I know homeless people dress better.
Okay, so we know we got Gene Barillo, whose face is cut off. We got Anthony Arolato, who's an informant. And then, of course, in the middle there, Sammy Gravano. I'm guessing that Anthony Arolato must be pretty short, too, because Sammy's like 4'11".
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. I hadn't seen this before, so I guess Anthony Arolato, another one of the informants that paid homage to the King Rat.
Yeah, well, that's what they do. They want to pay homage to him, and he's really not worth anybody's time. He's just a horrible human being.
No.
Better than that. The guy in the blue suit, I don't know who the fuck he is. He's got to be another rat.
Just so we know, we'll explain. He's Anthony Arolato. He was in Springfield. He was behind the killing of Bruno.
Adolfo or whatever.
Adolfo Bruno up in Springville. Yeah. And he informed on the Diaz brothers, who are now spending life in prison. And I always talked about this before. I haven't talked about, I'm not in the mob genre. I'm not going to start talking about him because it got real ugly last time. But the fact that's what he did. He became an informant. He was, I guess, a capo or the head of the family. I don't know what exactly.
Yeah, he was up there. Kind of ran that crew up in Springfield for the Genovese.
I actually find his suit kind of nice, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah. Okay.
Inside his suit, it says, "No smoking. Suit is flammable."
Where did he say?
I have no idea. That's too funny.
I'm like, okay, where Where's the sign that says that?
Yeah.
And this is what makes Joey Merlino different than the other people on here, besides the fact that he's not an informant. The one-liners. That's a one-liner.
Well, and he does it at the top of his head. You know, for me, when I have to do these shows, and thank you for coming on with me. It's not the easiest to do these shows by myself. I'll tell you, I edit. I'm not good at it. I mean, but he could do it at the top of his head. He's got the one-liners, the zingers, as they say, and they just flow. I can't do that. I don't have that gift.
Go right up in flames. As I scrolled down on the picture, I seen these fucking shoes. I can't believe this. They got to be hand-me-downs from Woodsack. They're probably Philly and Eddie shoes.
Hand-me-down from Woodsack?
Yeah, and Philly and Eddie shoes.
Or maybe Sammy's ex-lover left them to him before he went in the program. They're a size 13. He's got to be a size 8 or 9. They're all creased up. Look at these fucking shoes. And the other one's got a half a buckle. Unbelievable. I'd rather be barefooted than walk around and look like that. These people are sick. Cancer-ridden, disgrazi out motherfucker.
We would like to thank you for watching. Head on over to Patreon for the full episode.
And as you know, being that you're using his property, left that there, and I guess you'll put the link underneath there to his show.
Yeah, I'll put the link. And so, please check out The Skinny of Joey Merlino on Patreon, and, got some good stuff over there.
So, that's just funny stuff. And that's what separates him. He's very witty.
Yeah, most definitely. And, be interesting to see what Sammy says. But, it's just, I've been thinking a lot about, what happened. I did the show about what was it on Monday Tuesday, basically addressing, the bullshit that Sammy was saying about me, the threats and all that. And what did you think about that when you heard it? I guess nothing can surprise you, but, I definitely must have triggered him, and it's a little interesting how he's been triggered lately.
Well, it shows you one thing. Yeah. Sammy is not better. Sammy's an evil man.
Yeah.
And you could see that he's a psychopath. I mean, you could see the murderous rage in him. That's what separates, say, him from these other guys.
Yeah.
He has that. He can't control that trigger. Mm-hmm. So on the street, he was probably the night when he got beat up by Aldo, let's say. Yeah. He went and lost the fight in a bar to Aldo.
Yeah.
He could have walked away from that fight and it's all over. That whole thing with Alan Kaiser never happens. But he gets angry and mad, and he decides that he has to go get a crew and go deal with Aldo. That's to murder him. And then he murdered. Instead, the kid got murdered.
And he lied about, and the thing that what I found pretty bad is that, one, he lied about that being, he says a group of bikers. And so, it was.
Aldo was no biker. Aldo was not a biker. He was part of no biker gang. His bike was a Schwinn.
Yeah, exactly. He had a car. Yeah, and all that. And I think it was a one-on-one fight. He got beat up, and Aldo's a big guy. He was actually a really big guy, from what I understand. Tall and big guy, good with his hands. And so, anyway, we know what happened to Alan Kaiser and a 16-year-old, and we tried to, I put up his birthday was the other day. He lost, he would have been 62, something like that. He didn't get
same
your age. Yeah. Yes. And he didn't get to live his life because of, murderous thug.
Sammy Gravano's temper.
Yeah.
Sammy Gravano this is what the government let out of prison.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, this is what the government decided to use to put away somebody. Okay.
Yes.
This guy had no thought. When he gets murder on his mind, he'd still be murdering if he could get away with it. There's no doubt about that. You could tell by the way he talks. He
Yeah.
literally said to come to your house and have wine
Mhm.
and cake with you and your wife.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Exactly.
that's a cowardly threat where he just
Yeah.
he's a coward. He won't come out and say it.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly. And you saw his eyes, you saw him up front, and you know what he was capable of doing, what he would have done. And it still surprises me a little bit, but it shouldn't, how so many people from his side will come over and they want to talk bad about Alan Kaiser, for example. They don't understand how something's 40 plus years ago, why
I
it
notice, James,
matters. It does matter.
you put that picture up, James, let's say, of Alan Kaiser.
Yeah.
And then underneath you got like 300 remarks. But some of the people, like there was a couple of idiots that said, he was in the wrong place at the wrong time. That's the way of the street.
Mm.
It's like, do you understand that Alan Kaiser was somebody's brother? Time doesn't heal death.
No.
I mean, he brutally got murdered in the street by a cat. Art will say, well, he was hanging out with Aldo. No, he wasn't hanging out with Aldo.
No.
He was walking home and bumped into Aldo, who he just happened to know as somebody from that street.
Yes,
That's
exactly.
how Brooklyn is.
Mm-hmm.
And then they talk about, oh, well, Aldo was a bad guy. Aldo had no record when he was killed.
No.
I mean, when he wounded him,
Yeah.
Aldo got away. Aldo had no record.
No, and he was scared.
Yeah,
He
was
left.
scared.
He got shot. He leaves, and he's scared. And then, at least according to Sammy's story, old man Peruta's kids knew Aldo or something, and they made an agreement that he could come back into town and live again. But
Which is probably
I
a
have.
lie. It's most likely a lie.
It's probably a lie, and Aldo, what we do know is that he did pass away, 15 years ago or so. And, he's between New York and Florida, but, he didn't ever get any more trouble. Nothing ever happened. He didn't get in trouble for that. He got in a fight. That happened in Brooklyn in the mid 70s, but, you see what happened. But yeah, I was a little disappointed in some of those comments. But then again, we have a lot of good people that's part of the community that, had really nice thoughts for Joy and that family. And I know Joy was very appreciative of it, and I love the photo as well. That was a new photo that we hadn't seen of Alan as well.
Yeah, Joy had it up on her Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you listen. Every time Sammy acts like that, you see who Sammy is.
Yes.
Okay. And he is what he is. He's a coward.
Yeah.
And he's a man with if you have a gun, he used it. I'll guarantee you that he's murdered more than one or two people. Guarantee it. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
I mean, you can just see it. So imagine this maniac remember when he said that the cowboy guy, what was his name? The guy
Nicky Mormondo. Uh-huh.
So he said that when they threw him out of the car, he was happy to see his body come out of the car.
Yeah. And that's someone that did work for him.
That was his friend. He grew up with him. Then he's talking about, and then he even made comments when Labatt was killed.
Mm-hmm.
How he had it coming. Or Louis Melito, another one of his friends, he had it coming. They all had it coming, but
every one of his friends.
They all had it coming. They all knew him for years, but it didn't matter. This guy has no compassion, and it's just like we talked about, James. This is a guy that brought his family into a drug dealing business. He says that his son was involved in it. Okay, just say he's telling the truth about that, James. All he had to do is, this is Sammy Gravano. At that time, he had a couple $1 million because the first time he got out of the program, he had a lot of money.
Yes.
The feds let him keep it. So he has all this money, but he wants more. So you don't think that his son would listen? If his father say Sammy went to his son and said, no, we're not getting into the drug dealing business. No. The son had a restaurant that was doing pretty good with the mother. Sammy could have stopped him from starting that drug business, but he chose not to. Matter of fact, Sammy said, let me join in. My personal opinion is that Sammy started it. He's lying about his son starting it because everything Sammy says is a lie.
Well, and it's also interesting. Why is it that Sammy got mad? And there was one point I've read in documents that the court that he threatened his son with a gun. as
threatened
well.
his son's girlfriend. To kill her. He threatened the wife who he thought stole money, his own wife.
Which they're still married, by the way.
Yes.
And
another myth, they got divorced. Another lie.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. And, one of the things I just wanted to ask one thing about Sammy, and then we kind of talk about, it's been like 3 years. It's been 3 years when you started this channel, but I wanted to say something about Sammy. What we're seeing with Sammy is that he's trying to shop a movie deal, supposedly sending stuff to 7 different studios. And, it's interesting. He's been trying to do this for, several years. And then what he said was that, oh, well, if this doesn't work, we'll just independently produce it or whatever. I just don't think that Hollywood is comfortable with Sammy Gravano. And, I kind of have a feeling that Fox News got into a lot of, it didn't work out too well when they brought Sammy on to talk.
I know a lot of people that sent a lot of negative stuff into Fox for having him on. See, people say, oh, well, you can say Michael Francis is a rat, whatever. But you cannot compare them. You cannot. One's a psychotic killer. Okay. Joey can't talk about the way Michael Francis dresses.
Right. Well, that's true.
Impeccable. Perfect outfit. So, he takes care for himself. Listen, I'm not the greatest dresser in the world. 1,000 people.
I know I'm not either.
But that's not what I'm here for. Right. I'm not here. I'm not on TV If I'm on TV, I'll dress in a suit, but I'm on a podcast. That's what he's on. He's a podcast. And not many people dress up for the podcast. That'd be too weird, especially when you do one every day,
Yeah, no, you're right. But no, I just wanted to get your thoughts on that. And then, the other thing is that, actually, we there's been a lot of other shows that, I've been putting out, we did a couple together too. And May 3 years ago is when you started this channel.
Right.
And I was just curious because I know the story that, your first big interview was with Jimmy Calandra. And I know that, that story, but how has things really changed in the last 3 years? Because I didn't enter this genre until a year or so later. And then we've got a bunch of new people that probably don't even know the origin story of how this thing even got started.
And this the main reason I left the mob genre is because of the ugliness of it. And, but I'll tell you what, when I first came into the genre, I came in, I knew nothing about anything. I knew nothing about the rats and the shows. And so I was willing to do anything when I came in, in my first year and a half, I was really confused. I wanted to interview an informants, then I didn't want to interview the informants. Then I did. So you could call it flip-flopping. But once you get to know them, things change. And I'm talking about the way they deal with you. They'll turn on you. They'll start. John A-Light, I interviewed him, and he bought me 500 bots.
Oh.
And I noticed that in one night, my sub count went up by 500. And then I was like, wow, everybody's glad to see John coming on. So John A-Light comes on, then he gets off. And that night, I start seeing them rolling off because YouTube picked them up that they were fake.
Oh, wow.
He literally put them on purpose to fuck with me.
Yeah.
And Gene Barolo knew he did it too. So literally, I'm watching these roll off, and I'm like, what the hell's going on here? See, this is what I'm talking about being new. I didn't know
you had no idea what was going on.
None. Everything was new to me. I made a lot of enemies. When I go back and look at my first year and a half of my stuff, I hate it. I'll be honest. I hate it. Besides the fact I've lost quite a bit of weight since then.
Yeah.
I looked like I was at death's door. I was angry. Absolutely. When I look back on that, I had to get in here and start. It went in a good direction. Danny Trio came on. Danny Trio turned out to be a fake, but the fact of the matter is, he was a very entertaining fake, and and to this day, his live, as you know, in the library because you own it now, that Danny stuff still gets a lot of views.
Oh, some of the most views. It's a top 10, of the shows. Still.
Yeah, and the things that change too is when you think you're friends with somebody, then the next thing you know, there's a show going on, and it's about you and about your friends. Or they try to get involved with your family. They'll do anything. Look what they've done to Angel Gotti. They'll do anything on here. And so that's when I decided, James, and you know this, when I said to you, I just don't want to be in the mob genre. I don't have it in my heart no more. It's not fun. And when I first came on there, it was fun because, I can go back to the first month I started. I had on Cane Shade, me, and FBS.
You guys were really the ones that started all this.
And those guys were talking about, it was FBS, it was me, it was Mob Rats.
Cane Shades, Mob Rats.
Cane Shades. Tony Pizza came along about a year later. So, but from Angel Gotti was always there from the very beginning, and then she got her show. So I would say that myself, FBS, Mob Rats, and Angel Gotti were probably that part of MobTube,
right? The
mainstay of MobTube.
Yeah.
But then it just got so ugly. I didn't want to be the mainstay of MobTube, and you came along. When you came along, I felt like now I go walk away from this channel and leave it, and know that it's not going to be destroyed.
Yeah, and I appreciate that.
Well, I appreciate what you've done. You've done nothing but build the channel, and so now I go over to my wrestling channel. And it's a different type of wrestling. I'm not like a wrestling fan. Oh, look, I'm gonna jump off the ropes. I talk about the dark side of wrestling, and it's starting to take off.
Yes,
I'm almost in just 3-4 months. I'm almost at 7,000 subs, and that's great,
man.
That's
it took a year and a half to get to that in the mob genre, right?
No. Oh, yeah. In the mob,
the mob genre, and you got it just in a couple.
Well, the
months.
most amazing thing about myself, MRE, and FBS is that when we started our shows, all three of us got to 1,000 like within a week or two. It was amazing. We didn't realize how difficult that was, but we all did it. And if we didn't start fighting with one another, we probably would have went so much further.
Yeah.
Because people were finding they're interested. Then all of a sudden we forced people to take sides because we started fighting with one another.
Yeah.
And then it got real ugly. And that's when I got ugly. I look back at some of my stuff, James, in the first year, I watched the chat rooms. I played some of that stuff. It was 50-50. 50% of the people in the chat room were going at me. But, my dumb ass didn't even see it until I replayed it a couple of years later. I had no idea.
Well, that's hard to do. I mean, that's the thing is that you look at these chats that you have and some of the others too. It's just, I don't know how you guys keep up with all the comments and everything going on. That's a tough thing. And so it's, to me, it's just amazing to hear the story and how, it seemed like even back then, the three of you were kind of against the Rats, right? And then, because
I was against,
really.
My first show ever was against Sammy Gravano. First show ever. I did it with my son.
Really?
With my son. We did a show because I was like, why has Sammy Gravano got his own show? Why are people showing him all this respect? Because I remember when he was in the newspapers in New York and he was the worst piece of shit in the face of the earth.
Yeah, you saw the picture of the rat in the New York Post, his head on a rat, And
then I came in and then Jimmy Calandra. I knew nothing about Jimmy Calandra. I knew nothing about Anthony Sparrow. I knew none of that story. I knew nothing about Judy Shemtov. And I seen at that time, actually, Jimmy Calandra was like the main guy. He was exploding. His show was, he was the king. He was exploding. Yeah. And so I talked to him and then he decided to come on. But then the following day, and 2 days later, he said something about me. So instead of me just forgetting about it and walking away, I went to war with Jimmy Calandra, and every sub that I picked up from him left me. So I mean,
that's crazy.
And that's how volatile it was back then. And so I had a very bad. Jimmy Calandra and I have never been friends since then. It's been ugly since then. John A. Light, same thing. Gene Barillo and I have been off and on.
Sammy's never been your friend.
Never. That I can say with pride. Never, 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 never. And then most recently, I sent an email with Michael Francis. He sent something back because I did something I shouldn't have done with him on an attack. So I didn't realize that until after I got into this genre, James. I went into another genre because none of this goes on over there. None of it. You'll have some wrestling people coming up. I mean, mob people come into the show over there every once in a while.
Yeah.
But I just boot them. Anybody's welcomed. I don't care what happened in the mob genre. Anybody's welcome, but don't come over there talking about me, James. Don't talk about Angel, and you can stay. That's it. I had somebody come in that mocks MRE's name over there, and so what I do, I tell them to change their name or get out, and that's it. I don't care who they are. I don't care anything about the mob genre no more. Did the mob genre help me? Yes, without a doubt. But now I'm just doing something else.
No, I really appreciate it, Lee. It's just when I'm lucky to be able to inherit this channel at the level it was when, I was able to pick it up, because I'm telling you, it is next to impossible today to start a channel and let it take off. You can do it, but it's a lot harder.
It's very 1% of people that come in here. 1% people get over 1,000 subs. So that means 1 out of every 100 people. People say, "Oh, it's easy to start a channel. Let's go. It's easy to be a podcaster. It's easy, all that stuff." I built channels despite myself, despite the shit I was doing.
Yeah.
People joined my channel because they wanted to see me get crushed, destroyed. They wanted to be able to see how many times I've heard, "Oh, Lee's done." I've thought I was done a couple times.
Wow.
I've
heard it, but but you always made it through.
I came back strong, and I came back stronger than just about everybody else. And a lot of luck's involved in that. A lot of luck. But then when you came along, it really mellowed me out. It
Thank you.
made me realize that I'm going in the wrong direction in my life, and that's it. I'm going to do what I want, but you'll never see me interviewing informants. Especially, I'm on the wrestling channel. What you do on your channel is your business. But you've had Michael Francis on, and then with Michael Francis, people can say what they want, but Michael Francis is nothing like these other informants. Nothing.
Yeah, you're not going to see those on here.
I'm talking about personal wise, the way they talk. I mean, a lot of things have done a lot of bad things to Michael Francis too.
Yeah.
And we know that.
Yeah.
So that's it.
That was all I wanted. Yeah, that was all I wanted to cover. But I appreciate it, Lee, and I encourage everyone go over to Wrestling with the Devil, Lee Cole 3 podcast. Join the fun over there. You're doing 3 lives a week.
Now Wednesdays and Saturdays are my permanent days.
Okay, Wednesdays and Saturdays, and then but you're also dropping videos. Yep. And getting some of the shorts up and all that. And so, check it out. And then also, check out My Father's Daughter. That's a Patreon channel for Angel Gotti. She's still involved with that. It's growing. You're involved a little bit with that.
Very, very, very little. If she needs help, she'll ask me, and that's that.
Yep.
So eternal Marla.
Yep, exactly. And so good stuff going on over there. So, I appreciate it, Lee, and we'll go ahead and close the show. And just thank you for watching. Please hit the like button. Consider subscribing to Real Mob Stories with James Proctor, and also look forward to your comments. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, James.